They are storming the field, Connor. They are storming the field. Nebraska 44, Wisconsin 25, and for the first time since 2016, the Nebraska Cornhuskers are going to a bowl game.
Josh, let's check the comments here.
Oh, okay.
Rush the field for 6 wins? Are they really rushing the field? Who cares? Nebraska's going to a bowl game. They beat Wisconsin to a pulp tonight.
Yeah.
Why not? Storm that puppy.
I am hoping and I am wishing that the callers tonight, the commenters tonight, go all off of vibes. This is going to be a vibes show for us.
Let's go.
They won a game. They won by 19 over a team that they had not beaten since 2012. And Nebraska moves to 6-5 on the season. And again, they will go to their first bowl game since 2016. Welcome everyone into Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. Alongside Connor Happer, I am Josh Peterson. We are brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and we're also brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Wow. How about that one, Hap?
I mean, I didn't hear Matt Rhule's comments just then, but I'm sure he's a little emotional. I'm sure he'll be talking his stuff in the post-game press conference.
Oh,
I mean, this is.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a type of thing that could look at they're holding the Freedom Trophy. You remember the Freedom Trophy?
I had honestly forgotten about it until I saw a tweet today.
I'm pretty sure Nebraska has literally never won the Freedom Trophy because I don't think it existed.
It didn't exist in 2012?
I don't know if it did or not.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that might be the first time they've ever held that in their hands. Yeah, I mean, offense, obviously, we're going to talk about it throughout the show. What a night and day difference. Defense still had some problems. Nebraska's going to have a chance to beat Iowa next week to get their 7th win. Yeah. They're going to have a chance to get all of these sort of, not all of them, but a lot of the demons out. You know, hey, we beat Wisconsin, Iowa back-to-back. We're going to a bowl game. We got 7 wins. We feel good going into an off season again. That's what's on the line next week. But for tonight, it's a really, really good start with the bowl game clinched.
It certainly is. You can give us a call at 402-951-1620, 402-951-1620, the J. Stinnett Contracting Hotline. We are hanging out at Cross Train off of Portal Road, and we will be here for the next couple of hours talking about this big Nebraska victory, 44-25. Over Wisconsin. We'll have Matt Rhule's press conference in a few moments. The first thing, Happer, that I want to start with, though, is the middle 8 portion of this game when everything completely changes. Nebraska outscores Wisconsin 13-0 in that time frame. It starts with a touchdown on a 10-play, 76-yard drive that ended with a touchdown. They get a fumble on the immediate next play. Yep. They have a really nice throw to Ja'Cory Barney for 12 yards to get the field goal a little bit closer. John Hull knocks in a 37-yarder. Then on the first drive of the second half, they force a 3-and-out, 0 yards for Wisconsin. They drive down a 46-yard drive, and Hull nails a 45-yard field goal. And in that moment, obviously the game was not over, and I know a lot of people were stressed. That was when the game completely flipped, though, into Nebraska's favor from one that I thought might be a little bit more back and forth.
Well, it just felt different, right? So I get all these things from people who are like, hey, how are they going to blow it tonight? It never felt that way. It never felt that way to me. Really not the entire game, and definitely not after that portion that you just mentioned. Nebraska punted twice in the entire game.
Crazy.
They punted 2 times, once from their own 28-yard line and once from their own 48-yard line. So it's not like they got these drives out into the Eckel range and left points on the field.
Yes.
No, they took advantage of all their opportunities to get points. Yes, they had to kick field goals, twice in the game, 3 times in the game.
Yeah.
But they took the points because they had a comfortable lead at that point, and then they had the finisher drive as well that got them over 40 points.
Yeah.
Nebraska got a 100-yard rusher as a running back for the first time since November of 2022.
Wow.
Today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they got a lot of stuff out there back.
Yeah, and you mentioned the field goals, so they have to settle for 3 of them, though I would actually say they have to settle for 2 of them because the first one, again, there was no time left in the first half, and that was a really quick, smart drive for them as they knocked that one in. The students have stormed the field. Remember, Happer, a simpler time 2.5 months ago before the Colorado game when many people on many sides were asking, you think they'll storm the field if they beat Colorado? They did, and now look at this photo that I just saw from Day Fight. They are having an absolute party at the stadium.
It's fantastic. Like let it all out, man. This is what you do it for. Nebraska, like if you had, Nebraska's been suffering for the last decade in football. It's the decade of turd of Nebraska football, as I've called it before. It's been horrendous. The worst decade out of any blue blood in college football history. Yeah. And if you're not celebrating a representative game of getting out of that or making your way to getting out of that, then what was it all for?
Yeah, seriously.
What was it all for?
Well, how about this from Steve, who is not a spring chicken? Why does it almost feel like we won a national championship? Sad to say, but it damn near does. And by the way, it was the first time Nebraska's won that trophy. So happy you were correct on that.
There you go.
It's going to be interesting, man, to see the reaction to this because there are some who, again, if you are a college student in Nebraska and you're a freshman, you're 18 or 19 years old. This is the first time they've beaten that team since you were 8 or 9 years old. It's the first time that they're going bowling since you were 10 or 11 years old. Think about that. Like, I know that someone like you or me, we have a bit more history with the program. Obviously, an older fan is going to have a bit more history with the program.
Nebraska's quarterback was in first grade the last time they beat Wisconsin.
First grade. And by the way, Dylan Raiola looked like Dylan Raiola yet again.
You had just hopped up to go to the bathroom, but they had an ISO shot on him after, they had kind of put it away. And he does the bowling motion.
Oh, I missed it.
He does a perfect bowling motion. So we have golf and bowling references from Dylan Raiola this year. It was fantastic. Let it all out. I don't care if it looks stupid. I don't care whatever, like the history of the program. Like, I don't care. It's a night for celebration.
That is absolutely awesome. We are still awaiting Matt Rhule. We will go to that press conference shortly. Also, the Wisconsin and Nebraska volleyball match now a little over an hour and 15 minutes away. But let us go to the phones, the J. Stinnett Contracting hotline, and Joey is the first caller of the night. Joey, what's going on? You're on Big Red Overreaction.
Hey, guys, how we doing?
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Guys, I'm excited. All right, so we just beat them for the first time in 10 years?
More.
12 years.
All right, so here's the deal. I heard a bunch of people are going down to 72nd and Dodge and celebrating. Let's go. Go. Love you guys. Take care.
Let's go, Joey.
Game, baby. Hey, we're beating Iowa. Let's go.
Joey.
Why not?
That is the call that I want to begin the show with.
That is the kind of energy I need.
How about this? Todd Peterson, friend of 1620.
Oh, what a guy.
People forget about the touchdown that he scored against Baylor in 2005. 40 points. Is this 1983? How about that, man? Nebraska's offense in the Matt Rhule era, they had not scored more than 24 points on offense against a power 4 or 5 team. They did it in the first half, and they tack on another 20 in the second half.
How many years did you say it was?
In the Matt Rhule era, they had not scored against a power opponent more than 24 on offense because, they would have like a pick six, a special teams touchdown, and they get the field goal at the very end of the first half, and that gets them to 24 points.
I love how they did it. I mean, we're going to talk a lot about Dana Holgorsen tonight. Nebraska needs to do everything in their power to make sure he's their offensive coordinator next year. Everything in their power, whether it's money, favors, things like that. I don't care. Keep Dana Holgorsen in Lincoln. That's what they need. Because what Nebraska did is, and you've seen it, it's happened the last 2 games. I tried to tell people this week, I saw the seeds of what they were trying to do. It looked more confident. All of a sudden, Dylan Raiola looks like September Dylan Raiola. All of a sudden, the wide receivers are open.
Dude, how about that catch that Banks had near the end of the first half to give him that touchdown?
They're making contested catches. We won't talk about the 2 touchdowns that they dropped. But
come on, Banks.
But, they went from a pretty rough offensive coordinator to one of the best there is in the game. That cannot be understated. That's what it's done to Nebraska football. And so for all the people who said they have the players to do it, they just need to be put in position, they're feeling really good about themselves tonight because they're right.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Nebraska 44, Wisconsin 25. Still awaiting Matt Rhule, so a room for you right now at 402-951-1620. Let us go back to the phones and welcome Bo onto the show. Bo, you're on Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Good, man.
All right, so I think Harburg did great today. I liked how they're implementing him more. I just wanted your take on one thing.
Okay.
So they're doing a lot of fake handoffs and running them out to the outside. How do you feel if they take that handoff and have them do a quick pass down the middle?
Like a RPO where you throw it?
Yeah, I think that'd work great, and they they kept running those fake runs and having them run. I think they need to throw a pass in there. I think it'd work well.
Oh yeah,
Thank you, Bo.
Bo, thank you for the call. I think they're building towards something with him.
Yeah,
like they show that was the thing. So they would put him in and sort
he
of
had 6 carries tonight, by the way.
They would put him in sort of ridiculous situations before. And I know people had sort of an issue on maybe one of the drives where he came in tonight, and I can't remember which one it was. But, I thought it was generally pretty consistent when he would come in. It's basically red zone, like, hey, we're going to tell you that we're running the ball. But if they're back, by the 40-yard line and they need to get that next first down and advance the ball further, I think they're eventually going to throw one off that.
Yeah.
I think they trust that. And, you're going this week was an empty the tank week for sure. Friday is also an empty the tank day, right?
And now they can do it without the pressure.
Yeah.
How about this, man? They played today like a team that did not have the pressure of everything. They did not look like the team that has the bowl game conversation hanging over their head. I mean,
look at Ty Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, dude, talk about a guy to be really happy for. The program that Nebraska's Twitter account tweeted out before the game, that the program cover with him and Nash walking side by side. I thought that was a really cool design, a really cool graphic, and these are the guys. A guy like him is someone that I'm extra happy for today. Like, I'm happy for the program. I'm happy now that they don't have to answer those types of questions. I'm happy that they can go into Iowa and maybe play loose. I'm happy for that guy, though, because that guy has been around. He is one of those players, Happer, that whenever people bring up, like, the youth movement, they talk not maybe about Ty, but about someone like him who has been in the program for as many years as he has.
So the gamble, it was a gamble to say what Matt Rhule said this week and to approach it how Matt Rhule approached it this week, which was, look, I'm not changing. We're not going to take anybody. We're not going to play a whole bunch of young guys on defense. We're not going to go away just because we're desperate to get a win. We are going to gamble it. We're going to push all our chips in, and we're going to say, you guys just got to go get it done. Go get it done. And and that group got it done. And so now we get to find out how meaningful that is in this program.
Speaking of that, let's find out how meaningful it is. Matt Rhule speaking right now with the media.
Special teams, offense, defense, kicking field goals. Thought it was as well-rounded as we can be. So credit to the guys. As I told them, we it's not like we're doing something different. They're doing the same things. They've just worked and worked and worked and gotten better and better and better. Especially proud of those seniors. 30 of them, all different, different journeys to get here. But especially the guys who've been here for a long time. They've been through 3 coaches, different ADs. They've as I said earlier, they've stood in the gap. It's not easy to do, in a place with expectations like this, and they've done it. So I was really happy for them to be able to grab that trophy, and they've never seen it before, and hold it and bring it in the locker room. So happy for them. Happy for last year's seniors. It was great to see, the Ethan Pipers, the Taggies, the Reimers, the guys who, we weren't able to get them there last year. I promised them last year that I'd fly them to the bowl game. So I was happy that we, we can guarantee a couple more weeks, and we can bring those guys from last year, hopefully to the bowl game this year. So
the players to do this. You said that they're going to be the guys who do it. Your offense certainly did that today. What accounts for how well your offense played from the very first drive until the final touchdown?
Well, Sam, it's I just can't have a good moment, right? Me, I have to always be whatever. But even at halftime, I was like, we turned the ball over on the 20-yard line, so they gave our offense did. We missnapped it on third down for again. We had a penalty after a touchdown that led to a good kickoff return. So, we dropped a couple touchdowns. So there was still a ton of plays that were left out there. I just think Dylan was really on, and we ran the football really well. Ja'Cory worked the middle of the field. But, I thought Emmett was, first 100-yard rush for the season. But, also catching the ball in the backfield. The tight end showed up. The ball went to where it was supposed to be. We were able to protect the quarterback. So I just think, they went out and they executed. And when we executed, we scored. When we didn't execute, we struggled to score. But that gets my point. There was no new plays. I had to call timeout a couple of times because Dana was, tripped up trying to get the words out. And because, he knew what he wanted. And a lot of plays, some of the other coaches helped him with. I thought it was great collaborative by those guys on the sideline.
Speak to the rhythm that your offense found into the first half and then into the second half, just the rhythm and play calling and just the way that the offense moved.
Yeah, I think, if you go back throughout the course of the year, we've had a lot of drives killed by penalties and things like that. I thought there was no negative plays, right? So last week, I know you guys asked me about pushing the ball on the field. I said, well, we were able to get the ball in the quarterback's hand. Every ball kind of went forward, right? It's like, like playing like links golf, just keep knocking it down the fairway. And today we were able to do that, but also make some explosive plays. But the players made the explosive plays. The players made people miss. Like Emmett was untackleable at times today, right? So I thought that was another component to it. And then we were probably, more aggressive in the fourth quarter. As I've talked about, me looking at it saying, hey, how do you kind of challenge and change the way that we're going to play to be a little bit more explosive? And, we threw the ball more in the fourth quarter than I normally would. And Dylan made those plays. Like he made great decisions. He put the ball where they needed to be. And, even, I don't know how many we scored, but 44. We probably could have scored 55, with a couple balls hit our hands and we had to kick field goals. So, credit to those guys for coming out and making the plays.
I know just to advance the program forward at this point, to finally get over this hurdle that's blocked the program since 2016.
Well, I think there's obviously like a psychological component to it, but there's also a physical component to it. And as I said, when I was talking to the production, you think they've the last 7 years, Wisconsin's been in a bowl game. That's roughly 15 practices a year. That's 105 practices that their players have had of development that we haven't had. And so, this is a great way to send off the seniors. It's also an opportunity for us to continue to develop our players. And then kind of the cloud that kind of hangs over everything, it's gone. This will be the last time we ever celebrate 6 wins. But as I've told our players, it's always the hardest to do it, because it's always hard to be the first to do it, right? Everyone's always, your own self. You're questioning, like, is this right? Is that right? Once you do it, it's like, okay, this works. I trust it now. And so I can't thank, Ty and Giff and Nash and all those guys enough. Bryce is they've trusted it. And, whether it was Buschini putting the ball out of the 2, it just comes down to players making plays. And so I hope as we come in tomorrow, our players have a much better picture of what's possible when you do things at the level they're capable of. And, we got into a bowl game. We have another opportunity on Friday to go play another game and a rivalry game, and it should mean a lot to us.
What kept your confidence during this tough stretch here, the 4 game losses, and then keeping this team together? You make some personnel changes, but what made you believe in this team so much?
Well, it's like, it's the 3rd time I've done this, and I'm in the same exact spot that I've been every time, right? So it's just kind of like, the hard thing now is, you see other people that are doing it faster in different ways. And so I guess that makes sense. Like why people say, well, why didn't we do this? Why did we do that? But, I was just trusting in what I saw, and like I said, at USC, me and Troy were talking this week. I said, they get a defensive pass interference missed call on the 1 and 1 on the goal line. If we score one of those 2 touchdowns, does everyone now believe that what we're doing is right? So, but again, as I said to you guys, I wasn't going to worry about the refs. I was just going to worry about trying to play better. And I think the guys are just getting better. We have a freshman quarterback out there. Like, he's going to get better every week, right? Like, we have young players, we have guys who have, so I just think seeing the guys, seeing the way they work every day, knowing that they're here, they hear all the noise, and they probably have their own questions. Like, Coach, you're working us really hard and we're not getting what we want. But no one's ever accomplished anything in life by quitting halfway through. And one of the quotes, and I think it was James Clear who said this, whether something's a success or failure usually depends on when you measure it. So if you measured it last week, you would say, boy, they're failing. Today, you might say, boy, they're being successful. And so I just prefer to take the long approach. There's unbelievable leadership here, whether it's, President Gold, whether it's Troy Dannon, whether it's Governor Pillen, whether it's all the people that support the program. All the people have just kept saying to me, like, hey, we trust you, just keep doing it. And I keep saying that to the players. And I think you saw a team today that a lot of questions you guys asked me this week was, hey, where's their head at? Like, I thought you saw a team today that obviously believes in what we're doing.
What was your immediate emotion? When you're going to win. There's probably about 3 minutes left. You're up 19. What is the emotions that flood over you, and what did you see from your team?
I was. It was important to me that those, because Wish came over to me and said, hey, those guys need to go grab that trophy, and I had forgot that there was a trophy, and not because we haven't had it. It's just not the way my brain really works that way. But I was like, and I just can't tell you like how much Ty Robinson means to me. I just can't express it. I can't express how much. Those guys have meant to me, and I don't know that everyone's always treated them fairly. I don't know that like they've got. I don't know if anyone understands what they've had to endure here. It's just hard to be a player and have different coaches. It's just so hard, right? And I've seen the look on their face coming off the field after UCLA. I've seen the look on their face coming off the field, and just me like being like, what else can I do for them? So honestly, Sam, today my speech to them in the locker room was, I would give anything to do this for you, but I can't. You have to go do it, And so my emotion was that I wanted them to have that moment. And then, then I was just trying to get off the field. They wanted to interview me with the Big Ten, and they took a long time. And, I got a little bit choked up there too, because I just, they've worked so hard, and I wanted them to have this.
I know how much you stress the middle 8 portion of the game. You win that 13-0. How much of a lift did that give you guys going in the locker room with how that half finished and everything?
Yeah, no doubt. I thought we did a nice job at the end of the half of scoring a touchdown, right? And then getting the field goal, and then calling the out of bounds play, and then John, credit to John, just think about what he's done to improve this year. I mean, from there were days, I don't want to say this to embarrass him. There was a day or two when we kicked field goals in practice where he didn't make one. And, I told you guys, I sat there that day talking to him when he was in the hot tub, and I was like, hey, you'll get through this at some point, I promise you. And just to see him, just the faith we had in him. But that was really important coming out of the half. We could have had a touchdown there too coming out of the half. I think the biggest thing, and I think credit to Coach Holgorsen, what he's brought to the offense, maybe it's play call. I think the biggest thing he's brought is a little bit of swagger to them of we threw the touchdown to Nayor, but he was out of bounds, right? And so typically that would be like, oh my gosh, we're snake, and he was just like, let's do it again. And then we threw a touchdown 2 plays later. So I thought that aggressive mindset of hey, we're going to keep going, guys, until they pull us off. We're going to keep going. I thought that was good at the end of that.
Was the play up front on offense? Was it as good as last week? Was it a continuation of last week?
I have to see it on tape, but I thought we controlled the game. I don't know what the final yards rushing were. I don't know what the numbers were. That's Wisconsin, that's a tough physical team, and they held Oregon last week to 16 points. They held Penn State. Penn State scored a late touchdown to make it 28. No one the whole year. I don't think it was, maybe Alabama scored this many points on them. So I would assume that we ran the ball well. I thought we were able to drop back and throw the ball on first and second down without any heat coming at us, and guys executed like the play to Emmett down the sideline. I don't know if you guys remember that. That's just that's the hot, and that's just Dylan doing his job and Emmett getting his head around. So, it looked to me, but I'll have to watch the tape. It looked to me like we really ran the ball well. And the drive before the half, we were in kind of a 2-minute mode, but we were in 12 personnel. We were in 2 tight ends, and that allowed us to kind of have a run-pass mix. And I just think I don't think that was planned. That just kind of Dana was feeling it, and the guys were moving the ball. So I would think so, but I'd have to watch the tape.
Is there any part of this that's a feeling of relief?
Yes, 100%. 100%. And again, it's relief in that I've got the benefit of doing this twice before and staying I think I said to you guys when I made the change with Dana, I look at the weight room, I look at the training room, I look at sports science, I look at sports psychology, I look at the player development, I look at the recruiting, I look at all the things we're doing and believe it's all right and it's all going to pay off in a big way. It's just I look at the players and they're coming in every day, and then it's a close loss, and then it's a close loss. Will this work? Will this work? Will this work? And I would have liked to have gotten our 6th win a long time ago, but there's something really important to us about playing Wisconsin. To be quite honest with you, Julie and I sat there 2 years ago and we watched the Wisconsin game, and it looked like it wasn't going to work out where I was going to come be the head coach, just because couldn't make things work. I remember watching that game and watching Wisconsin it was a close game, and then Wisconsin just kind of beat us up on the line of scrimmage and pull away at the end of that game. And then soon thereafter, Trev and I were able to work some things out before the Iowa game. So to come, full tilt 2 years later, to be able to run the football in the game, to be able to stop the run, yeah, I'm proud of them, but it does feel like relief, and it feels like relief because I want those older players to leave here. Like Giff kept saying, as he was walking on halftime, I want to change the program forever. And just obviously we're not where we were in the 90s. We're not there. I'm saying just in terms of we're not snake bit. There is no curse. You got to just go play good football. And if you play good football, good things will happen. So love to do that again Friday versus a great team.
Sounds like Corey Barney put together a career high in receptions and yards as well. How special has it been to see him grow throughout the season?
Yeah, Jacory's one of the most competitive guys I've ever been around. He's one of the hardest working guys, and what I like about him is, he doesn't really we're not out there trying to scheme guys up to get open. Coach is calling plays, and Jacory runs a route as hard if he's the first progression as if he's the fourth progression. He runs every play like it's the last play of his life. And he's out there catching punts. He's out there catching kickoff returns. And, I thought the game started off at a really, really good note with the way he started off with that kickoff return, and so you think about our special teams and where we were at Purdue. to where we are now, where we're kicking the ball, we're punting the ball down to the 5-yard line, we're turning kicks out past the 50. I wish it would have happened earlier. But guys like Jacory, when they want to play special teams, I think it lights everybody else up. Like, hey, I can do this. And we had a bunch of starters out there playing on the special teams today.
Hey, last question. Is this the Emmett Johnson you guys thought you were going to see this season?
I don't want to say I don't say that makes sure I couch it the right way. I just think Emmett's like all of our guys on offense. There's probably, as you go through the season, you're not scoring enough points. You start to lose maybe a little the confidence, maybe in what we're doing. Maybe not even in yourself. But Emmett, to me, was a game breaker today. He was a difference maker. I wish Ramir could have been out there. Obviously, Ramir Johnson. If you guys knew the things he's overcome this year to be out there, I mean, it's just amazing person. But it was Emmett, and I thought he played really, really hard. And then Dante, some big crucial runs on third down, the ones even to score the touchdown. I thought the backs hit it and played hard, but. Yeah, I think we have a lot of Carter Nelson. Carter Nelson's out there playing. Then he makes a tackle on kickoff. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys. If they just stop at the end of the year and catch their breath and look up, they've really gotten better over the course of this year. And now we have a couple extra weeks of bowl practice to try to get them even to another level.
Matt, what do you do to celebrate?
What
do you do to celebrate?
Yeah, I'm not talking about that, guys. Don't ask me. I won't ask you.
That was Matt Rhule following Nebraska's win versus Wisconsin, 44-25. Josh Peterson and Connor Happer with you live from Cross Train Brewing. We are just off of Portal Road, and we will be here for a couple of hours. And now it is time for calls, tweets, and emails for the rest of the show. And we are brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. 402-951-1620 if you would like to give us a call, 402-951-1620 on the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Light up the phones. We will get to your calls, emails, and more responses next as Nebraska locks up their first bowl bid since 2016. Josh Peterson and Connor Happer with you. More Big Red Overreaction next on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. He's Connor Happer. I'm Josh Peterson. It's Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. We are at Cross Strain Brewing off of Portal Road. Come by, say hello. Happer might shake your hand.
I'll shake your hand.
I want to shake his
hand. Shake your hand.
First person that gets here that says I was at the game, I watched them get their 6th win.
Oh.
Get a hand shaken by
the
Connor
way,
Happer.
can we get a report on that billboard on I-80 that right next to here that used to have the score on it?
Put the score back up on the
score
board.
back up. It's worth putting the score back on again.
I think it's time to do that. I think it's time to do that because it would say Nebraska 44, Wisconsin 25.
Bull-bound 24.
Yes. Troy Dannon, this is according to Sam McEwen, Troy Dannon already has a bull-bound 24 shirt on.
That's a little too far.
Yeah,
I'm over it.
The kids storming the field, the tiny baby boys and girls, that is totally okay with us.
It's not fun anymore.
The
You ruined it.
Yeah. It's like when your dad started saying words the kids say, and you're like, all right, never mind, I can't say tight anymore. My dad just said it unironically, or maybe ironically, I don't know. A comment coming in the chat. Let's get a lot of comments in the chat. We have the YouTube chat open. We have the text machine open. But Mike writes, go Big Red and rock chalk, baby, which leads us into this, our scoreboard update brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. How about this, Mr. Connor Happer? So Kansas, they get the dub today.
Yes.
They officially, as Brett McMurphy wrote, take a blowtorch to the Big 12, and they became the first team in college football history with a losing record to defeat 3 consecutive AP top 25 teams. They won 37-21 over the Buffs today. They had an incredible start in that one down at Arrowhead, and now they will be playing for their very own bowl berth next weekend. I don't know who they play in. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, they play Baylor.
Okay.
Dude, they're probably gonna be going bowling. They got off to such a bad start. A lot of people have been comparing them to the 3-9 2021 Nebraska team, but this is different because they actually win games. So.
Devin Neal, he found the new gear. He had like 300 total yards today.
Yeah, incredible. That's one of the things that happened. We were just watching the end of an incredibly strange game in Tempe, Arizona. Arizona State, they get the victory over BYU. BYU suffers their 2nd consecutive loss. We missed the beginning of what happened, but apparently the students stormed the field and tried to tear down the goalposts. They had to then clear them off. It took like 15 to 20 minutes, which then set up one more Hail Mary for BYU. They caught it, but they caught it like the 3-yard line. So BYU falls. Arizona State now, they are in the driver's seat to make it to the Big 12 championship game. Ole Miss falls earlier today, 24-17 to Florida. Miami rolled. Penn State, a 1-point victory over Minnesota, 26-25. And the big one that everyone had an eye on earlier today was Ohio State, 38, Indiana, 15. So the Hoosiers suffer their first loss. But with that Ole Miss loss, I don't know if they're feeling great today, but they're maybe not feeling as terrible as they would have going into the game.
Hey, so I just calculated the Big 12 tiebreakers, including a couple of today's results. Now, we're not official for the week, and then we still have next week left to play.
Sure.
Iowa State, door back open for them.
Oh, wow.
To head to the Big 12 title game if they can take care of business against K-State next week. So let's see if I did K-State in that game.
Internal.
It broke the whole thing.
All right, well.
It broke the whole thing.
We'll continue to keep tabs on that, and that is the scoreboard update. We'll be keeping an eye on Nebraska and Wisconsin volleyball, which gets going next hour as well. But let's go back to the phones. Josh has been waiting patiently, we hope at least. Josh, what's going on? You're on Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
I'd like to give a shout-out to Gary Sharp and Jimmy Chavez.
Okay, why?
I'm a 6A to 10A caller. And I'd like to give a shout-out to Rick, Captain, Pyro, Walter, and Jimmy Palmer, Fongway, Reldman. But I have to be honest, I can't understand how they fired Nick.
All right. Big Red Overreaction, not 1620 The Zone makes announcements overreaction on 1620 The Zone.
Is he just listing YouTube commenters?
I don't know. Is that what was going on there?
This is not how this is going tonight,
No. This is a party tonight.
Yeah,
this is a party tonight.
This is not how this is going.
Let's go back to the phones. Andy, please tell us that you're going to have a better phone call than Josh.
Hey, gentlemen. Welcome. I'm calling from California here. How you doing?
Good, man.
Good. Hey, Josh, great job last night on the call in the basketball game, by the way.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Hope you got a good run this morning. Hey, How about Emmett Johnson, by the way?
Whoa.
How about Emmett Johnson? EJ had a great game.
You running hard.
Oh, my God. It's good to watch it back. Break some tackles. Like, that's nice to see. Hey, Holgerson, we got him. Like, we got him. He's coming back next year, right?
Well, I hope so. I think so.
That's my call. Nice.
Okay, hey, Andy, thanks for the call.
Let's talk about
this. Is the concern about him not coming back? It's not that they don't want him, and it's not that he doesn't want to be at Nebraska. It's that somebody else wants him to be a head coach.
That's right.
That's the thing that you're worried about, right?
If anything, I think the overwhelming likelihood is that he is back. But this game shows you the importance of having him, right? So like it became more really the last two games, and whatever happens against Iowa, and whatever happens in the bowl game,
and whatever happens in the Detroit Poop Bowl.
Happens in the Detroit Poop Bowl, where we all eat our Little Caesars deep dish,
or the Mayo Bowl,
and we have a miserable time. But those games will all show the importance of the difference that Dana Holgerson brings to the table compared to what you were dealing with previously. I don't see why he wouldn't outside of a head coaching opportunity, and I certainly don't see why Nebraska wouldn't have him back.
Yeah, Nebraska's obviously going to want him back. The offense puts together their best game of the Matt Rhule era straight up, no matter the opponent. They rushed for 180 yards on 36 carries. Dylan Raiola, 293 yards on 38 attempts, 7.7 yards per attempt. I was a little surprised, Tapper, that they declared the play in the first half a fumble and not an interception, just because I thought that that the possession hadn't been established long enough. But no interception for him on that play.
Yeah.
EJ, as the caller mentioned, his finest night as a Cornhusker, 16 carries, 113 yards, 7.1 yards per carry, a long of 19. Dude, this is the guy that last year as I'm watching him, I'm thinking, I really enjoy this player as a running back. I think that he could really make some hay if he got more opportunities. And it's still Happer. He doesn't even get to 20 carries.
That's what I'm saying. Like people call into the shows and they're like, "Hey, I think we just need to load up EJ for like 39 carries."
Nope.
And I'm like, "No, dude. This is a good rotation, and it makes sense, right? Like this is the difference that the offensive coordinator brings to the table. He has an understanding of who the hot hand is because you already go into it with the knowledge that you don't have one running back that's so much better than the other running back.
Yeah.
So you're saying, all right, who's the hot hand? Who's doing what for us right now? And what does his skill set say? And 16-10, Emmett Johnson over Dante Dowdell tonight. And I love it. And obviously Emmett made the most of him, but just because you give him more bulk doesn't mean he keeps his efficiency.
Yep.
Right? Like he's had many 16 carry games in his career.
And he's never rushed for 113
this
yards.
Was just his best.
He also had 6 catches for 85 yards. He tied with Ja'Cory Barney on the most receiving yards on the night for Nebraska. Barney led the way with receivers, 9 for 85. Mr. Banks, Jamal Banks, 4 for 52 in that tutty in the end zone. Borkature also added 29 yards in the 44-25 win over Nebraska, or over Wisconsin, rather. Back to the phones we go. Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Hippie is on the air. Hello, Hippie. Hippie is gone.
Maybe. Too many drugs.
Well, too many drugs. Too many drugs for Hippie. Let's try Trevor next on Big Red Overreaction. Hello, Trevor.
Hello?
Hey,
what's up, guys?
what's going on, man?
First of all, we're bowl eligible for Oklahoma. We're bowl eligible before Wisconsin. These rivals, we've been sad and we've been in our feelings. But here we are. 6 wins, baby.
6 wins,
That's
baby.
What I'm talking about, Trevor.
Yeah.
I love it. You got any more?
Exactly. Oh, of course I got more. I'm just proud of the boys, the way they fought. The offense looked like they had control of the game. We were able to keep putting points on the board. When Wisconsin answered, we answered. And that's exactly what you want to see. They are making steps on offense. I hope to keep Holgerson. The Big Red train is rolling right now. Let's be Iowa.
All right, Trevor.
All right, thanks for the call, Trevor.
So are we talking about the defense tonight, or are we not?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
All right,
do you have any take?
Well,
any takes?
the defensive backs suck. Yeah, like probably all of them.
It was such a bummer, man. This game could have been like a 40-something to something in the teens for Wisconsin, and they get that stupid late touchdown and then a random 2-point conversion.
Well, the one that would have sealed it was they had the running back all bottled up on a fourth and one.
Yep, and they
he
get the first down.
One, and then
the next play was the touchdown
hit one
pass.
over the top.
Yeah, that was a bummer. That was a bummer. What is not a bummer, though, is this edition of Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. It is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and it's also brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. When we return, we will go back to the phones. We will continue to take your calls as we roll on. So Travis, Mike, Ava, and unnamed. Stay right there.
There's a guy in cross-train who's on hold right now.
Oh, my gosh. This is perfect. So that is either Mike or Travis. Mike or Travis is on.
Are you Mike or Travis?
Which one are you?
Thumbs up.
He's one of them. All right. We'll
get to you later.
We'll find out. We'll find out next. We'll find out next. Josh Peterson, Connor Happer with you here on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. Alongside Connor Happer, I'm Josh Peterson. It is Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. We are live from Cross Strain Brewing right now as some folks at Happer, I'm guessing they left Lincoln. They came on down. They're stopping by for some delicious brews.
Hold on. We're on the air. No bad words.
No bad words.
Oh,
did he say one of the bad words?
But it was silent.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I couldn't hear him. I couldn't hear him. Yeah, so if I can't hear him, nobody else can.
We're good.
Yeah.
People walking into the bar doing bowling motions. Strike. Spare. They're all over the place.
Man, people are having a good time.
This is kind of a spare of a season, Josh. If you really think about it, you left a couple pins out there. You left
Dude, the Illinois game is haunting everybody.
You left 3 or 4 pins out there off of your first roll.
Yeah.
But guess what? If you win against Iowa, you pick up that spare.
Yeah.
And you're feeling okay about yourself.
And it's a spare in the 9th frame. Or no, it's a spare in the 10th frame that allows you to bowl one more time. One more time. A couple questions coming in, Happer. One from the text line, Mike in Columbus, Ohio, as well as KG, who emails in, what happened to Fedoni? And he takes on Mr. Thomas Fedoni from you, Connor Happer.
He false started.
He did.
And then I don't think we really saw much again. I don't know if
we saw the other tight end.
There was definitely Bo Richter.
Yeah.
I don't I don't know what the snap counts are going to look like on Mr. Fedoni tonight, but I don't think we saw him much after the false start, to be honest with you. I mean, he didn't have a catch, did he?
I don't think that
he did not.
I don't
have a catch.
think that he had a catch after that. No, I do not think that he had a catch after that. We are brought to you on Big Red Overreaction tonight by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, also by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Let us return to the phones. We thought that one of the folks over here was on the phone. He's just listening to us.
He's just listening.
He's just hanging out.
He's cool. We love
so
that
he
guy.
is not Travis nor Mike, but we will go to the phones, and we will start it with Travis first. Travis, what's going on? You're on Big Red Overreaction with Josh Peterson and Connor Happer.
How's it going, guys? Lifelong Husker fan, born and raised in Nebraska, live in St. Petersburg, Florida. Just wanted to give a shout-out to all my Husker fans in Florida. There's tons of us, and we love the Huskers.
Nice.
Hell yeah, Travis.
My question to you guys is, Raiola looked different today. He looked easy. He looked in sync. And I just want to know, in your guys' opinion, was it just him? Was it the new offensive coordinator? Like, what was different with him? He just looked different. And I'm leaving it to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
It's a great talking point.
So, I was thinking, Happer, as the game unfolded like it did about the end of the show yesterday on Unsportsmanlike Conduct, and one of my keys was that idea of a game 1 to game 2, but in this case, it was the coordinator. We always talk, the old cliche, they make the biggest jump between game 1 and game 2. And I wondered if we would see that with Holgorsen because, as you mentioned earlier, I thought that the pieces were in place last week. They only scored 13 points on offense. But I thought that there was a different look about things. I thought that the blocking was better and crisper. I thought the running game looked a little bit better. And I thought that Dylan also looked a little bit better. Tonight, I think he looked way better. I wonder how much healthier he has gotten now over the course of the last few weeks. But he dropped back and he threw the ball. He didn't waste time, unlike he had been. For that October stretch, man, he was dropping back, rolling around, moving around. Today, it was drop back, find the person, throw to the person, and it seemed like his decision-making was on point.
This is not a show to talk about regrets or anything like that, but if we could flash back all the way to the beginning. Yeah, cheers, my man. Cheers, my man. Cheers, my man. If we could flash back to the beginning of the season.
Boom, I'm good.
When Matt Rhule talked about how they weren't, I'm paraphrasing a little bit because I can't remember the exact quote. He talked about how they were just going to throw everything at Dylan.
Yeah.
Right? You remember that? Something along those lines. Hey, we're going to treat him today like we're going to treat him as a junior. And what you're saying when you say that is you're not going to artificially manufacture confidence for him. You're not like people talk about it all the time, whether it's quarterbacks getting into a rhythm or hitting easy throws right out of the gate. There just wasn't any of that. So even though there was success in the first few games of the season, I never felt like there was a base. I never felt like there was a real foundation,
a mayonnaise
for him to stand on, almost the bread. I don't know what it might be in the sandwich. And it kind of collapsed. It was a house of cards in the middle portion of the season. Now I sort of feel like there's a base, like there's a plan. The plan that they have had the last 2 games gets him in rhythm.
Yeah.
It gets him quick, easy throws right out of the gate. And you saw it. They build off of each other. A lot of the throws, I don't know what his yards per completion were early in the game. I'm sorry, I'm talking a long time here.
You're
but
good.
A lot of his throws in the early portion of the game, I would imagine the yards per completion were really, really down still.
It was.
But
something
he
by
got
halftime.
more confident.
Yeah.
He got more confident. And all of a sudden, you're stretching it out down the field. All of a sudden, you're taking shots down the sideline. So I feel like there's a base now. And, what a great place to be in just 2 games into the new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because they have the catch that is ruled out of bounds when Nayer's left foot somehow didn't touch the ground.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But they were making those types of throws again where he was putting the ball in a position where only the receiver could catch it. And that ended up being a huge help.
He's just confident.
Yeah, he looked so much better tonight. Back to the phones we go, 402-951-1620, the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. It is Ava who is up next on Big Red Overreaction. Good evening, Ava.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
I just wanted to talk about Wisconsin fans for a second.
Oh,
we were sitting behind the one lonesome Wisconsin fan throughout probably the entire Memorial Stadium. And we were snooping on her phone a little bit, looking over her shoulder. We saw her text, man. She was upset. She goes, I am distressed. The game is not going the way I would like. You know, Nebraska showed up, showed out, showed those Badgers what the fuck was up.
Ava.
Ava,
that was such a great call. It was such a great call.
I was snooping over Wisconsin fans' text.
Yeah, that is incredible.
Wisconsin fans, they're texting all their friends, why is this not going very well? This is the only thing I know. This is not what I showed up for.
Oh, man.
But you just had to do it.
Very, 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 very sad. Mike writes, breaking news, Wisconsin fans said. I can do a little boots-on-the-ground journalism with Wisconsin fans. So one of our great listeners of 1620 is Kyle, who lives in Omaha. I actually met him at Cross-Train here a few years back. He tweeted at me at the half, and I've had this tweet saved. I didn't want to respond, and suddenly Nebraska loses, and then he can walk it back. But Kyle said, I'm only one Badger fan, and there's a good chance I'm the only one that cares about this game because he lives here. He's talking about around the Nebraska people.
Yeah, I remember this tweet.
But this is the absolute tipping point for me. To be dominated by a team that hasn't beat us in a decade is disgusting. Who cares? Who's calling plays? It's the same bleep.
Mega hell. They're in mega hell.
Wisconsin fans are down very, very bad. Wisconsin fans are down very bad. Hey, I would say this to Wisconsin fans. Remember, if this is the Bill Callahan era, you are actually in 2005. So you got a lot of suck ahead of you on the Wisconsin just downturn as they have their own version of Bill Callahan.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to Wisconsin as a program right now, but they're definitely doing some soul searching. And for Nebraska to be the ones that, they were probably already doing soul searching, but just to dig it in a little bit further.
Yeah.
Oh, that feels real good.
We are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair.
Jack wants to give Ava a podcast.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, many people who say things on the internet get podcasts now, Happer. So maybe that'll happen as more Husker fans make their way in. We are hanging out at Cross-Train Brewing, and we will be here for a while more. Let's go back to the phones. Mike is up next on Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K. Good evening, Mike.
Hey, boys. Before I get started here, I just want to thank all the people that got me to this point. Only kidding. I think something overlooked today is the simplicity in the O-line and the tight end play. Really simplified it down. Not as much as zone where you're having O-lineman guessing hat on head and then tight ends peeling out the back end. So just want to get your thoughts on that. And then also, I think this is probably embarrassing for true Husker fans, not J-Skers. But is this the best Husker sports weekend in 15 years plus? All right, fellas, have a good time in Vegas. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Mike.
Interesting call, Mike.
Interesting,
call.
Happer. We are 53 minutes and 45 seconds in. That is the first reference on air of the basketball.
It's amazing how when everybody gets real happy and they focus on other things, it floats away. I was finally feeling not under arrest for the last 24 hours, for the last few hours here. But it was going to come up at some point. What was the question? What was the
best
question?
weekend in 15 years.
I don't know. How would we know that?
I mean, well, let's see. So right now we set the
beating Creighton, Wisconsin, and then Wisconsin again theoretically in volleyball is pretty freaking solid.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? We set the over under for the 4 games this weekend. So Nebraska women versus Creighton women, Nebraska men versus Creighton men, Nebraska versus Wisconsin football, Nebraska versus Wisconsin volleyball. We set it at 2.5. Great line by the lines makers.
Yep.
But yesterday it did not go how I thought it was going to go, and yet in the end. They are at the number, and tonight is going to ultimately decide.
And the ultimate killers with the chance to finish them off.
Yeah.
Go over the number.
It's the team, if you took the over, you would want the team
You're
tonight.
glad they're playing last.
Yeah.
Right, to put you over that mark.
Many comments now coming in, Happer, with curse words and the word Creighton following them.
Interesting.
I will not read those comments on the air because we are not allowed to. We have a couple lines open for you right now, 402-951-1620. Let's go back to the phones for the last call this segment. It is Joe in where we will be tomorrow, Happer, Las Vegas. What's up, Joe?
Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Well, Joe, I feel like I'm already in Vegas right now.
Nice.
I feel amazing.
Trust me, you want to wait till tomorrow because the stupid F1's in town tonight still, and it is an absolute cluster F. Unlike the other girl, I know how to keep the
Thank you for not saying the word.
That's
You're very welcome. Here's the thing, though, boys. I know that we're talking about the Detroit Bowl, the New York Bowl.
Yeah.
If Nebraska beat Iowa, or even if they don't,
yeah,
because of the following that Nebraska has, December 26th, Phoenix, Arizona, 3:30 kickoff local time. It's the Rate Bowl at Chase Field.
And when is that one, Joe?
That is December 26th, the day after Christmas.
Yep.
3:30 local time in Phoenix. That would be against the Big 12 team, a possible rematch with Colorado.
Oh, hey, or hey, what if Kansas makes a bowl game, Joe, and they play Kansas?
Hello.
Or we get to go beat, because I just hate ASU, play ASU and then beat the brakes off of them down there as well.
Yeah, they might be in the playoff, Joe. ASU might be in the playoff.
They might. But no, it was really inspiring today. They actually see what decent coaching can do for a team. Now, hopefully when we get our new defensive coordinator next year, it'll be equal on both sides. And lo and behold, and I know we don't want to talk too much about this because we don't want to do anything to offset anything, but that's probably about what would we say, the Illinois game to now? The special teams, I don't know what Foley's doing down there, if he's not coaching, if he's going to a few less rural restaurants, but they have improved night and day as far as kickoffs go, as far as field goals go.
They have.
When they put people back there who actually know how to do punt returns or, for that matter, anything else. I'm not saying that we still don't get rid of the guy, but if anyone at least, if you were to ask me which one I would rather get rid of, I'd rather get rid of White. I'm still not sold on the defense. I'm not, and I'm looking forward to next year. But that's next year. Let's not worry about that. Let's celebrate the fact that Big Red's in a bowl game. The boys from Unsportsmanlike Conduct and the Counter Hopper Show are coming down to God's country tomorrow to watch football in the greatest casino in the history of the world to watch football. And it looks like you're bringing a little bit of warm weather because it's been colder than you know what here for the last 3 weeks.
That's right. We're bringing it.
Thank you, Joe.
We're bringing it with us, Joe.
Good to hear from you, Joe, at 402-951-1620, Jason at Contracting Hotline. Well,
yeah.
How about that?
Now, Joe, I got an option for you. You don't actually have to fire anybody. There is that. I know people are under that impression.
People love firing.
People love firing people.
What about reassigning? Is that firing?
Reassigning.
What about if a coach just decides to go somewhere else? Is that
That's
fire?
not firing.
Okay.
But okay, so is that where the Tony White thing is coming from? Because
I think Tony White will be gone next year. I do not think he will be on Nebraska staff.
But that conversation started as he's going to take a head coach job.
Yeah,
is it still that?
For me, no. I think straight up he's done.
Okay.
I think he is going to move on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about Foley?
I think Foley is going to be reassigned. I think that they will have, depending on how you view Holgerson, they will either have 3 new coordinators or like 2 3/4 new coordinators next year.
The special teams are they're taking up.
Okay,
here a
so
little
they're
bit.
making field goals. They are making field goals.
It's not just that.
Kickoff return defense, though, or whatever you want to, that they got 2 long returns. Wisconsin,
okay, but they got
today.
screwed today by the 15-yard penalty on the extra point. That it moved it back, and then ultimately they got great field position off of that. Remember that? It was off the touchdown because Bazooka grabbed the ball and he spiked it.
Yeah.
Which is
but
not
they still allowed for a big return.
It was a big return off of that.
But and there was the other one. So they gave up 2
Yes.
large returns today.
Yes.
Are you a part of Ed Foley Nation?
Am I in the Foley hive?
Yeah, bring back Ed Foley, says Connor Happer. It's not going to do wonders for your good takes.
No, which I have many.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that I wouldn't be surprised if he's still in his spot next year.
I would be surprised.
Okay.
I would be surprised. There will be no guarantees, no bets made, none of that. And I don't have
tomatoes.
There will be no tomatoes. It used to be get the eggs. Now it is get the tomatoes. Let's go back to the phones, 402-951-1620. Hippie is trying to give us another call. Hippie, are you there this time?
I'm back, and I was not stoned. I dropped my lighter, lighted my cigarette.
Awesome, Hippie.
Way to go, Hippie. How you feeling?
I'm happy. You know I'm happy as all get out and go.
Good.
Y'all do not have enough women who call here who don't get booted off the show. Shout out to old girl Ava who just called in.
We just can't have F-words.
You're allowed
That's all.
We allow women to speak. You're just not allowed to say a few of the bad words.
I'm just kidding. I know you do. I'm just saying shout out to a lot of us out there who can put up with y'all. First of all, okay, let me go quick because I know I only got a little bit of time, right?
Okay. You have plenty of time.
Shout out to everybody in Jonesboro, Arkansas. That's where my daddy's from. I'm in Colorado, hanging on my cousin's couch because I need to get away from my husband.
Nice. Don't we all?
Well, I need to get away from you too, Connor. I'm sorry to tell you.
That's fair. I get it.
Y'all be whining online, and I don't like that at all.
We do.
Y'all like
We're
black truck
complainers. We're professional complainers.
I'm going to put that in my bio. Professional whiner
100%.
online.
100%. Y'all like black truck drivers, not the person, but the truck. Shout out to my Republicans and racists who may think that's bad, but it's not. Man, the black truck driver is good.
Okay. All right. What else you got? What else you got, Hippie?
Okay. 7 things. Here we go real quick. We are Husker Power. We ran, we passed, we blocked the ball. Shout out to my Husker thugs and hippies, my Husker fans worldwide for shoes just like boats and hoes.
What did she just shout out? Because I couldn't hear
I don't
her.
know. There was a lot of shout-outs in there, Hippie, and they're doing Go Big Red chants across straight.
You keep rolling the shout-outs because I'm going to listen to this later and hear all the things you shouted out.
Shout out to my Husker hippies, thugs, ladies, all the ones who's holding it down while all of y'all being crazy, crying and whining all day. Oh my God,
that's what I'm talking about.
Hey,
that's good energy.
Hey, Hippie, to be fair to us, who cried and whined about Marcus Satterfield, can you give us a shout-out, too, because we were right, because they changed the coordinator, and then they put up 40-plus on Wisconsin?
You were 100% right, baby. You were 100% right.
Let's go.
But what you did wrong was whine all day, just like the team. Y'all cried. Y'all need to change y'all diapers and shut up and do your job.
My diaper has been changed.
This is the greatest call I've ever.
It is very good.
And then here we go. Here's my third thing. The Huskers play like black truck drivers. They play 4 quarters of moonshine football. I didn't say it when I could.
Nice, thank you.
Prestige worldwide. Badger, you busty booty hole lovers. Welcome to the Huskers. Hello. Bowling in the building.
Yep, we're bowling.
Okay, and then my number 7 is Hippie out.
All right.
Hippie, I love you.
Great to hear from you, Hippie.
Goodbye, Hippie. I love you.
A comment from Chance on the YouTube. Hippie, do you want to go out on a date?
If I could hear half the things she was saying,
I know.
I'm sure I would have really
I felt
enjoyed
like
it.
the listeners here decided to play a game of how loud could they get so we couldn't hear the caller. They won. They did a really good job.
We do. Hey, do we complain too much?
No, you don't ever complain.
That's
I feel
true.
like you're way too
Hippie,
positive
how
about
dare
things.
you throw me under the bus?
Yeah.
You're talking about John.
And John.
And John.
Now, yeah, John is not here right now, and he would probably find a way to be negative. We're
That's right.
We're the positive boys tonight.
That's right.
Riley, did she just say dusty booty? She did.
What did
I
she
think
say
that's
that
allowed
black truck drivers do?
I'm not touching that.
Okay.
I'm not
All right.
touching that.
All right.
one, Happer.
Okay.
Big Red Overreaction. We are brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We're also brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, and by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Before we go to break, let's take another look at the scoreboard. And the scoreboard update is brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems. Right now, Army and Notre Dame are playing in a football game, and I thought that they would have the score up, Happers, and I have to scroll to the top of this page. Notre Dame, let's go, up 14-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
I want that
That
prediction.
guy likes the Army.
Look, I just want the predictions point. That's what I care
That's
about.
idea.
I'm not anti-troops.
Josh is only here to be right.
I'm here to be right. Alabama and Oklahoma just kicked off. No points in that one. How about this, Happer? After all the whining all week long about, Indiana and the SEC so tough, Auburn's up 7-0 on Texas A&M. That'd
Amazing.
be pretty funny.
Also, Ole Miss lost to Florida today.
That was really, really bad. That was really, really bad.
And Indiana got it. I mean, they lost really by 2 touchdowns, but then Ryan Day was like, I'm going to do another one just for fun.
Yeah, he really wanted to.
Interesting.
Man, it'd be a real shame if Ohio State lost to Michigan next week. It'd be a real shame, Happer. Real shame.
I see where you're headed.
Real shame.
Hey, you know what? At this point, I'm all in on chaos, so let's just rip the whole thing.
Let's do it.
I don't care.
Let's do it. Let's take one more call before we go to break. Mike is up next on Big Red Overreaction. Hello, Mike.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi, Mike.
Good, man. How are you?
Good night, ain't it?
Oh,
yep. Oh, yeah.
Good. Hey, it was nice to see Halverson with anybody, with a fresh set of eyes on who is playing well and not going by just how many stars they got or who has to be in the lineup and things of that nature, and going by what he actually sees. That's awesome with the OC right now, I think. Because I don't think Thomas Fedoni, I call him Thomas the Phony, for 3-4 years now, and I know he has been hurt, and I don't I don't, judge him on that, but he's slow. He's slow on his blocks. I just don't think he's that good. So I'm glad to see that. And now I was wondering, I was surprised that you said you don't think Tony White's going to be there next year. I am.
Yeah.
I hope you are correct. 100%.
Yeah, I know you do.
I don't think the 3-3-5. I don't think the 3-3-5 will work in the Big Ten because it just don't stop the run. I think it scares me next week. Who is that? Caleb Johnson.
Yeah,
he's better than both those. Wisconsin running backs. That makes me nervous that not being able to stop that run. But hey, let's celebrate. It's awesome. It's a long time coming. It's just nice to relax a little bit. But I hope we do see a new fresh set of eyes. And if we don't get rid of Satterfield, we're going to have a hell of a freaking expensive tight end coach. Woo!
Oh my gosh!
People forget
Thank you, Mike.
$1.4 million for a tight end.
Oh, come on! Who cares? All right.
Seriously. But okay, so to his first point about playing the right players and all that stuff. Yeah. We talked about it a whole lot this week. The fresh set of eyes thing has been huge because Dana Holgorsen doesn't have any emotion toward these people.
They're just numbers.
Matt Rhule's love and adoration of the people who have been in the program for a long time is now well documented and admitted, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you don't think he has he wants those guys to do it, but if they're not doing it and they fall under the umbrella of the offense, they ain't playing anymore. And that's a super refreshing thing to see.
Yeah, indeed it is. Excuse me. Bigger Overreaction brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. All right, we will go back to the phones when we return. We are into hour number 2 of Big Red Overreaction here on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg. 44-25. Nebraska victorious over Wisconsin. They get their long-awaited, long-elusive 6th win of the season. They end a 4-game losing streak this year, and they get their first win over the Badgers since all the way back in 2012. They've now beat Wisconsin with normal uniforms. And for that, we should all celebrate.
The pictures will be awesome.
Thank God.
A Wisconsin guy just walked into the bar.
Oh, no. He's probably sad.
He's getting lots of handshakes.
Yeah.
They're being Nebraska nice to him.
Are they saying, hey, I remember when we had Bill Callahan? That's what Luke Fickle is right now.
Whoops.
All right, when we return, back to the phones we go. Vince, Miyagi, and Keegan. Stay right there. It is Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg. Josh Peterson, Connor Happer, it's Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and a 1019 The Keg, and we are brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life, and we are also brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. I hope Doug got into the building last night. I saw a lot of tweets that he was struggling with the tickets on his app.
Oh, really?
On his phone.
Oh, really?
How many peacocks can he upload the tickets to?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So maybe he wouldn't have wanted to get in the building with how that game went.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. It was a bad night for the blue people.
It was a bad night for the blue people, but some of them had a good time today as Nebraska wins 44-25 over the Wisconsin Badgers, and they pick up their 6th win of the year. We'll go back to the phones in just a moment. What did you think? We talked a little bit about it in the last segment. What did you think of the way that the defense played? Braden Locke finished with 292 passing yards on 30 attempts, almost 10 yards per, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. The rushing game, only 115 yards. They did average 4.6 yards per attempt. Dupree had 63 yards on almost 8 yards a carry. But, man, outside of that 1 4th down, it really seemed like Nebraska did a wonderful job of bottling up that rush game. There was that 4th down that they went for before the one that they converted, and we were here, where they lined up in that formation. And I said to you, what are they going to do? And you're like, they're going to pass it, right? And the formation just looked like one where if you're going to run it, you're going to get stuffed. They ran and they got absolutely stuffed.
Yeah, I thought they were going to pass it off that for sure. So, I mean, they hit a 58-yard deep ball over the middle. They hit a 42-yard pass, the one to Vinny Anthony.
Yeah.
Right away to get their first touchdown, right? I think that was their first touchdown of the game.
Yeah, they went right down the field after Nebraska's first
that's
drive.
100 yards of big plays. I mean, that makes a difference. You can't obviously take those away, but 115 on the ground. 115 on the ground, Josh, is the second best total Nebraska's kept Wisconsin to since these two teams have been in the Big Ten. The best one,
was it in the win?
In the win.
In the win.
56 yards on the ground.
Holy crap.
And this one was, 115?
Yeah.
They're averaging, I don't know after this game, I haven't factored that in yet, but they were coming into this game averaging 288 yards rushing against Nebraska per game.
Yikes.
So 115 is good.
Yeah, I definitely not your older brother's Wisconsin Badgers.
Some of that's
anymore.
them, obviously.
Yeah, they've taken a big step back. Back to the phones we go, 402-951-1620. It's Vince in Napa. Hello, Vince.
Good evening, fellas. How are you?
Good, man.
Let's see. Well, again, it's obviously been pretty well documented that the offense just really looks night and day better. And I think even last week, even though we didn't beat USC, I think, you started to see little signs of it here and there that at least there was some promise. But, and obviously we're talking about, the challenging of the receivers to block downfield and the running backs to break tackles. And also, just make the game simpler for Dylan. And now he looks like the guy that we saw early in the season. But to me, the one thing about Coach Holgerson coming in is that anytime you get a guy with an air raid background, you don't normally associate the impact that he's going to have in the run game. But I would argue that he's had just as big of an impact in terms of improving this run game as he has with Dylan. And defensively, it was a little Jekyll and Hyde today. The short yardage stops were nice, but to me, the most disturbing thing about the defense is that when Nebraska went up 34-10, they gave up on consecutive Wisconsin drives. They gave up quick scores, and it's like that's the only thing that's going to get them back in the game. Now, granted, they were never in danger of losing the game, but you just didn't feel like the game was signed, sealed, and delivered until the last few minutes of the game. But where I really felt like today was going to be our day, and I get it, we've kind of become cynical the last 8 years and just waiting for the other shoe to drop. But to Corey Barney returning that kickoff to the game 45 yards.
That was, hey, Vince, that's the first time that play has been brought up today. Shout out to you. That's a great tone setter for the entire game.
Well, it really is because, again, because the last time we had a returner that could really flip a game consistently was DeMornay Pearsonell, because he flipped Bo Pelini's last game and he flipped the best win that the Mike Riley era ever had. But I'll tell you, it's like, the drought's over, and I don't think that getting to a bowl game can be overstated. Now, I know it's something that a large chunk of our fan base, wouldn't wouldn't celebrate or anything like that. But to me, number one, it's something that's sellable to recruits, to everybody. I mean, because, okay, 6 wins, that may not sound like much, but it's something you could sell. Whereas you go another season without making a bowl game, what can you sell? But I'll tell you, though, we're happy, yes, but shouldn't be satisfied because you got that. And I don't want to be a wet blanket, but a losing season is still on the table. So you got 2 more wins. Yeah. Iowa doesn't have a heck of a lot to play for other than beating Nebraska. And granted, that's something. And then even though it's some low-end bowl game, you can win that one. So I'm hoping this game has 2005 Colorado written all over it, where we went into Folsom and blew their Folsom Field and blew their doors off. But we got a game on Black Friday night against Iowa. And you want to know something? We got that 6th win. Full eligibility is in our rearview mirror. The only thing we focus on now is you go into Iowa City and you go in there and you pillage and you kick ass and you fight with bloody knuckles. Let's go!
Let's go, Vince.
Thank you, Vince.
Let's go, Vince.
402-951-1620. No line available yet for that game, Happer. Got any takes?
Oh, are you asking me for a guess the line?
You can be Sal and I'll be Bill, so I'll cheat.
So you know where the game is? You know what time the game is?
Wait, it's in London?
This is a stupid London game. That
line's stupid.
Iowa is a 1.5 favorite.
Yeah, that sounds about right. There's a part of me, though, that wants to go with the clean 3. Just the throwback 3.
The old, they're the home team, they get the 3.
Give them the 3. I'll say 3.
Yeah, because if they were a pick'em, if it was a pick'em, you would say, well, they think Nebraska's the better team.
Because it's a road game.
I was at
and
home.
1.5 is darn near saying,
that's what Nebraska's was today.
It was.
And we didn't know. We didn't know.
Yeah. It'll be very, very interesting. We'll.
That's my official guess.
Okay.
1.5.
I'll go 3. Back to the phones we go. Miyagi is up next on Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The K. Good evening.
How are you?
Good.
Fantastic.
Yep. The boys performed today. That's all I got to say.
That's it, Miyagi? That's all you have to say?
But I'm more curious on what's going on with Hippie. She said she got away from her husband, crashing at her cousin's couch. I just turned 18 on Friday, so I'm looking for a prom date. So, Hippie, if you're out there.
All right, there you go. This is Locals Connect.
Yep. What's up with Ava?
Hey, I'm right here.
All right. Ava's in the. We're cutting out before Ava says another bad word.
This keeps happening. This has happened. I've done a couple Big Red Overreactions this year where somebody will call from the car
and
then the second person will call from the car and they'll say, "Hey, I'm right back."
I don't think that person's name was really Miyagi.
Oh, really?
That's going to be my guess.
Do we think the first person's name is Ava?
I bet her name is Ava.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Miyagi. He really got a hold of Ava very quickly.
Yeah.
That's what
but he also wants to talk to Hippie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It sounds like Hippie doesn't want any of that business
like
because Hippie understands what it's all about.
There's like a whole universe going on now, man. Like there's the extended 1620 The Zone universe.
There's the YouTube commenters.
Yeah, what's going on in the chat tonight? Anything that you want to read?
It's nonsense.
Okay, perfect. So let's go back to the phones then. Keegan is in. Are you in Louisville or Louisville, Keegan?
Technically Louisville.
Louisville. What's going on, man?
Louisville.
Well, I just I wanted to call in to say I was at our last November win in Iowa City.
Huh.
So it feels good to finally get the cloud off and get to that bowl game. We haven't really played a complete game since Colorado, so I'm just thrilled to finally go bowling again. And I want all of the Badgers tonight and all of the Hawkeyes next week to snorkel my entire cheeks.
Snorkel my what?
His cheeks?
What does that mean?
I don't know if I've ever heard that insult before.
What does that mean?
Have you ever said that to somebody?
There are children
Sometimes the youth of America call and you just learn that there are insults that you hadn't even thought of. Next time
talking about?
Next time John makes me mad, you know what I'm going to say to him? That.
You know what, John?
Snorkel.
To be saying? I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't think it's a curse word. By the way, I think Army, let's do one of these. Let's do a scoreboard update brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts, because Army just got a goal line stand versus Notre Dame. So the score remains 14-7 at Yankee Stadium. Also, we were tee-heeing and ha-haing a few minutes ago because Auburn was up 7-0 over Texas A&M. Well, Happer, feel free to get the belly laugh going a little bit more because it's now 14.
Oh my God!
To nothing.
So if Texas A&M loses, that'd be great, and then they'll beat Texas next week
and just totally scrub everything.
Explode the whole thing.
It's the conference of mid. It really is. It's a conference of mid. Speaking of Texas, they won 31-14 over Kentucky earlier. Not a very impressive win from what little I saw of that one. Georgia played with their food a little bit in the game versus UMass. They ended up winning 59-21, but that score not really indicative of what the score was in the second and third quarter.
Tennessee didn't get on the board until the second quarter either against Utah.
Yeah, and they won 56-0. SMU absolutely smoked Virginia 33-7. And again,
SMU clinched an ACC title berth.
They are going to the ACC championship game. And if you missed the end, we talked about it a little bit earlier. If you missed the end of Arizona State BYU, you are in for a real treat when you get to watch the highlights of what happened and ultimately how Arizona State won 28-23. A BYU Hail Mary falls a couple yards short on the last play of the game, and yet that still doesn't really explain how wild the end of that game
No,
is.
I honestly have to dive into it myself. All I saw was a bunch of people on the field and the field goal post down, and they still had to play afterwards. So exciting stuff.
Lots of snorkel conversations.
That's
and
good.
Cheek conversations in the YouTube chat, but we will move on from those, and we will go back to the phones. It is Texas Scott who joins us right now on the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Hello, Texas Scott.
How y'all doing?
Great, man.
So these are the type of callers you get once you finally go bowling.
Apparently.
Yeah.
You told everybody to celebrate. They're not holding back. So
No, they are not.
This is not on me, though, Texas Scott.
Yeah. So last week I called in. I'm a ex-booster of Texas.
Yes, I remember. Yes, yeah, I remember you, Scott.
Yeah, so a lot of fun. One, I'm really, really thrilled that the station, the fans, and the team finally got to see the full impact of a Holgorsen offense. It makes everybody look good. It makes the quarterback look good. It makes the wide receivers, the tight end screen, the running backs. And he just is relentless. I mean, I was on the other end when he was at Tech and on the other end when he's at Baylor. And what you saw in the fourth quarter is what he does the whole game. He's still coming at you. So that's going to be exciting. I expect a lot of games where we score 35 points. I think I'm hats off to Rhule, really in the leadership to making that change mid-season. The team needed it. The program needed it. And they saw not only, I think some people thought it was a panic move. No, they saw they were going to get nobody from the portal. They saw they were going to get nobody recruited unless they made a change. And now it's very attractive for some offensive performers to come to Nebraska. And I could not be happier about what we saw with the program and where we're headed right now. I mentioned last week that the fans are going to have to get behind this financially as well, and with NIL, with 1890. And then finally, that stadium, and I'm not kidding you, is quiet compared to other stadiums, and they need to stay awake, wake up, and they should make third down impossible for any team in that stadium going forward. And I mean loud, because that's a big advantage, and we've got to get back to that.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
Texas
you for
Scott.
the call, Texas Scott. What do you think about improving third down energy levels, Happer?
Well, I think Nate Rohr brings a lot to the table, yelling third down the entire time. Third down. So that's good. I don't know. I sense that we were here for this entire second half, so it was sort of hard to tell with all the stuff going on. But first half, I felt like it was a pretty good day for the crowd.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not here to haggle over how loud it is, compared to other places at this point. But
yeah. Adam says, make third down great again.
Make third down great again.
Jeffrey writes, hey, Josh or Connor,
Yes.
when is the last time NU had a complete game? This has to be one since when? So
Did they play a complete game?
That's my question, because special teams, again, they gave up a couple long kickoffs, but they also got a long kickoff themselves, and they knocked in multiple field goals. The defense did give up some big plays, and they did give up 25 points. I mean, this is pretty darn close.
Pretty complete.
If Colorado kind of the inverse of this? Great first half for the offense, and then they completely shut down, but the defense was great pretty much front to back. Because the offense was pretty much good the entire night.
Isn't it amazing how different it feels when you end that way, though?
It
when
really
you really
does.
stomp them out?
Yeah, that game could have been a party, and then the second half just, it was what it was.
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot different. And I thought going into this that the energy would not be next to that because it's different and a lot of stuff has happened since then, and there's you don't feel as much toward Wisconsin as you did toward Colorado at the time. But I thought it would be pretty good energy today. There was a real want in there to send the seniors out and all that stuff. And they definitely played with their hair on fire more today than they have in, I don't know, any game since.
Yeah.
Probably. It's the second best of the season.
Yeah, 100%.
As far as that's concerned.
We will get to Zach, Wade, Carl, and Bill, and many other callers as we continue to roll on. It is Big Red Overreaction, and we are brought to you tonight by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. We're also brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. We are hanging out at Cross Drain Brewing off of Portal Road. If you are still making your way home from Lincoln, stop on by. We've had quite a few people do so after the game. Nebraska and Wisconsin volleyball just got going. The first set, it is 1-1. So that one just began a couple minutes ago.
Okay, well, 1-1.
1-1.
It's a long way to go.
Yeah, very much a long way to go. More callers, more reactions, more tweets, emails when we return. Josh Peterson, Connor Happer with you on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. Big Red Overreaction is brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. And brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Alongside Connor Happer, I'm Josh Peterson. Thank you so much for joining us following Nebraska's 44-25 victory over Wisconsin. They pick up their 6th win of the year. They get their first win since all the way back in early October when they knocked off Rutgers by a score of 14-7. Wade in Mississippi texts in Happer and says, my game ball goes to Matt Rhule, who made this game possible by having the stones to switch offensive coordinators with only 3 games left in the season. I truly didn't believe he'd do it, and thrilled he proved me wrong.
It's kind of a wild move.
Yeah.
Kind of a wild move. But he clearly saw an opportunity for a new offensive coordinator, and it being the right offensive coordinator, to come in and immediately improve what you already have. Because the point has been made on both of the broadcasts over the last 2 games and in our talking points all week. Like, I don't think they're doing anything different schematically. Really, I don't think they're doing that. They're just
move from like the shotgun into the I formation, right? We're not seeing that change.
They might be playing a little harder. Like there's little things here and there, but they're just calling the right. They're just calling the right plays with the right personnel.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, you said it early in the broadcast, and I know you said it off the broadcast when we were talking to some Husker fans here at Crosstrain off of Portal Road. But just like that guy is a really respected offensive coordinator. Yeah. And what is the thing that people around here have wanted for years is they watch Alabama hire all these former head coaches to be analysts, and they see all of these programs making big moves. They've wanted to see something like this.
Yes.
And Nebraska finally did it. And I know the timing of it was very strange. They hire him with 3 games to go in the regular season and now a 4th game to go with the bowl game. But what he has done, you see, it's just, you kind of see why, that's what a really good coordinator looks like. That's what a former head coach looks like when he's your play caller.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's more that goes into it than just that, but it's clearly made a difference here.
Indeed it is. Let's go back to the phones, 402-951-1620. Zach joins us right now on Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K. Good evening, Zach.
Hey, guys, how you doing? Hey, I'm in the car with my buddy Ryan. We got like the Husker 3-game pass, and we went to the Colorado game as well. We're 4-0 when we go to games together.
Wow.
And for the first time in 8 years, we're going to a bowl game. The last time my friend Ryan and I saw the Huskers in a bowl game, we were in the 8th grade. Now we both graduated college in May. We're working at full-time jobs now, and we're finally seeing Huskers in the bowl game. So we're excited about that. We're happy. And to your point about the previous caller about, mixed third downs great again. I don't know if you guys saw Davis Winston on the Thursday Night Football game where he slowly gets happier when he hears that it's going to snow.
Yes.
During the game. That's kind of like me when I hear those bell tolls on third down. From the 33-yard line, it's there! Man, that just gets me going. So I agree with that caller. But my question for you guys is, I saw a tweet that said the 44-point score today was the most points scored of the Matt Rhule era.
Yeah.
I love Emmett Johnson. I think he needs more touches. What are your thoughts on the current Husker backfield? I know there was a lot of talk this week about the Husker running back situation, but where are you guys at with that?
Good call, Zach. Good call.
Call of the night.
Good call.
Now, I know we had
It made
Chiefs and snorkeling earlier, but that was a great call.
He was only maybe minorly under the influence.
How about that? 8th grade?
Yeah.
And now graduated college with a full-time job.
And that's not even since, there's longer bad streaks than that. It's only 8
I know, but it's just when you hear people describe where they were in their lives,
it's nuts.
Barack Obama was president. It's been that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay, offense, running back rotation. I've been an EJ guy for over a year now. Tonight he is the prince who has promised. This is the running game that I was hoping to ultimately see from him. I think the line did a really nice job, man. I would love to see one of those fancy stats. We don't have it in college as much as we do in the pros. But the line yards, I would love to see. I would love easy access to line yards, a.k.a. the yards that were given to him by the offensive line. Because he did have some scoot to his game. He had some juke to his game today. But the line did a good job of allowing him to get, 4 or 5 yards down the field at times before he even got touched.
They've been looking for people to take more than what's given to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Emmett Johnson, we know this about him. He will take what's given to him. But I thought he gave you a little more tonight, and I thought in Dowdell's carries, outside of 1 or 2, he took maybe a little bit more than was given to him as well. They did a nice job. Now, at the same time, Wisconsin's defense, it leaves a lot to be desired. Wisconsin as a football team leaves a lot to be desired. So Nebraska took advantage of a situation, but they haven't really done that. They have not been good at taking advantage of situations where other teams give them opportunities to either win football games, get yards, whatever it might be. And tonight they did it. So absolutely. I think you ride with those 2 guys. Obviously there's only 2 more games left, but
sad. Now we want the season to last forever.
This is great.
Yeah.
This is great. When was the last time you wanted the season to last forever?
2018 when they finished 4-2 and they lost to Iowa.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah, because you're like, oh my gosh, can they play tomorrow? I
Yeah.
remember
If they made the playoff right now, I'd pick them.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, let's settle down.
That was me.
Let's go back to the phones. It's Bill at 402-951-1620. Hello, Bill.
Hey, fellas. Hey, first off, congrats to you guys on drawing the long straw for the first time in like 5-6 weeks.
Oh my
on the
gosh,
show.
Bill! Shout out to you, man. Yes.
Yeah, and I promise not to go like full on Ava or whatever her name was from earlier, who dropped the F-bomb. But
Yeah.
I'm curious what you guys think. I looked at two guys on offense today, and I thought one performer was the carrot and one was the stick, right? I thought EJ was the carrot, right? And then Dana recognized what he had there, right? And then I thought the stick was Banks, who was a guy who seemed like he was clearly underperforming and really, I thought, had a great game, not just in getting separation, getting open, but his blocking. His block on the touchdown run, I thought, was just outstanding. So I'm curious what you thought about those two guys, and if there was any other guys that jumped out like carrot or stick guys, right, from Dana.
Yeah. Thanks for the call,
Thanks
Bill.
for the call, Bill. You know, it's such a bummer, too, because Banks, he has the touchdown, and then he has that drop that the ball just goes right through his hands. Who had the other drop? It was, I don't mean to bring up negative plays, but Nayor had a drop in the end zone as well. Yeah, Banks, that block was nice. And the touchdown catch that he had was tremendous to get the foot down in the back of the end zone.
I just thought they, I don't know. It just reiterates my point. It's not about them not having the players. So when Bill talks about, oh man, where'd these guys come from? Emmett Johnson and Jamal Banks, they haven't been there the entire year. Well, I don't know. They weren't being utilized, or maybe not utilized in a game, but weeks of practice, whatever it might be. They have found a way to invigorate those guys in just a short period of time here. And it's made it a gigantic difference. I mean, Banks looks like a different player than he did 3 weeks ago. I mean, it's pretty different. And obviously we just talked about Emmett Johnson as well. And Nair disappeared throughout the entire losing streak.
Yes, he did
for Nebraska. And today he had 4 catches. So and could have had a touchdown. So I don't know. I think they have players. And you just got to put them in the right positions.
473 yards for Nebraska tonight. Mike writes, I was still married the last time NU beat Wisconsin. I've been divorced 11 and a half years. Wow. That's a long time.
What was I doing? I was in college.
2012.
That doesn't seem that long ago.
It was my last semester of college, but I was doing all the classes online, and I was working for the Big Ten Network. I flew back that day from wherever I was, and I met my friends at a sports bar downtown, and we watched the game there and probably had a few beers.
Nice.
Good times.
That doesn't seem like that long ago, though.
24. I was 24.
You could probably do that right now.
Except
for the going to class part.
Yeah.
Going to
I would not want
class.
to do virtual classes today. That sounds absolutely terrible. Back to the phones we go. It is Carl who is up next on Big Red Overreaction. As Nebraska in the first set is up 12-8 on Wisconsin. Carl, what's going on, man?
How we doing tonight, fellas?
Lovely.
So all these calls coming in, was it Ryan talking about him and his buddy are 4-0 and they go to games together?
Yeah.
So, and I kind of got thinking for a hot second, stick with me here. You got this whole family week coming up with Thanksgiving. You got the Rayola connection out there. And it's kind of pretty cool, right? All this family thing happening here in Husker Nation. Are you with me?
Yes. Is there more?
I'm landing the plane. Are you ready?
All right, go.
Okay, can I just give a shout out to my kids?
Your children?
Yeah, you care real fast?
Well,
I don't know. It seems like you're setting up
You're
something,
about
Carl.
to say something bad, I think.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to say anything bad. They're listening on the radio. Do you care if I just give a shout out to Miyagi and Ava?
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. Roll
Not what I expected. I don't know why I didn't expect
Yeah, I know. We really should have seen that one.
Yeah.
But it's fine. That was fine.
Yeah, shout out to Miyagi and Ava, Carl's kids.
That's a great happy family.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Carl,
Ava, and Miyagi.
Miyagi and Ava.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
But didn't Miyagi say that he wanted to date Ava?
No, Miyagi wanted to date Hippie.
But he was interested in where Ava was too, right? But then it turned out Ava was in the back seat of the car.
Maybe they're a family from, I don't know. Let's just go back to the phones. Let's see if Wade has any relation to this family. Wade, are you related to Miyagi? Who is it, Carl or Ava?
I am not, but I do feel like I should have said this was Daniel's son calling in instead of Miyagi. But,
Mr. Miyagi.
I just wanted to say thanks to you guys and the other several people who sometimes do this show after the games, because I live in Jackson, Mississippi, and I've only ever met 2 or 3 other fans that even live in Mississippi, Nebraska fans, and never been able to get a watch party up. There's nothing like that here. It's times like this that I wish I was in Lincoln or Omaha to celebrate with all the fans, because I don't have anybody to celebrate with here, and my wife's not a sports fan. And so you guys, y'all show is how I do that. It gives me an opportunity to vent when things aren't going well and celebrate with you when it's going well. And we do something like in this ridiculous, 7-year no bowl game drought. And I also texted in, you read my text, but I called in because I didn't think the texts were working. I don't think it can be overstated about, I said, give my game ball to Matt Rhule.
Yeah.
It took solid gold stones to make that move with 3 games to go in the season. And I just think, it makes it, I wish we had several more games. I wish it had happened after the 5th or 6th game, or even I wish he had been there from the start of the season. I think it's like a new season has begun with this win. I think it gives them a lot of momentum. I think they can and will win at Iowa, be 7-5, go to a bowl game, win that, finish 8-5. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it every day of the week after what happened the last 4 weeks. And I think we're set up to give ourselves a shot of juice and momentum here going into next season. And I think that the future looks bright. And again, my game ball goes to Matt Rhule. Thanks, guys.
Hey, real quick before you go, Wade, a comment from Tay who writes, I'm moving to Jackson immediately. Let's all celebrate.
Yeah, let's all go down to Jackson.
Yeah, we'll celebrate with you, Wade.
Well, hell yeah. We'll get together and drink some beers, and I'm having a nice, cool, crisp glass of Chardonnay right now to celebrate.
There we go. Oh, you sound like a Jasker, Wade.
No. Just, I wish I'd watched the basketball game last night, but I didn't. But I'm hoping we have a good basketball season this year, make the tournament again, maybe get a win in the tournament for the first time.
Wade, thank you for the call. Wade, great call, man. Thank you so much for calling at 402-951-1620.
Isn't this crazy what we're doing? We're all celebrating a 6th win. We're all in this bar together.
Yeah.
Grown men with tears in their eyes celebrating a 6th win.
Come up and saying sir, and then dropping the F-bomb.
If somebody, who's driving down I-80 and they're going across the country for a road trip and they want to hit the best breweries in Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
And they stop off at Cross Train Brewery, but they don't have any idea what the heck's going on in Nebraska.
Oh, my gosh.
They'd walk in this bar and they'd say, what is going on?
Yeah.
Did they just win a national championship?
Yeah. And you say, no, they don't crown that on November 23rd.
They just won their 6th game.
Yeah.
And people are calling in from all across the world or one car. And celebrating
the same car over and over and over. Oh, we are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg is also brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Let's take our final look at the scoreboard, which is brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. Happer, every time we look at the score, A&M has given up another touchdown.
Woo.
It is 21-0 for Auburn. This game is being played on the plains, right? That's what they say for Auburn. It's on the plains. 21-0, early second quarter. Texas A&M does have the ball in Auburn territory, so we'll see if anything happens there. Utah up 10-7 on Iowa State. Iowa State 2 losses right now, very much still in the mix for the Big 12 Conference, so a loss there would not be good for them. Speaking of a team that cannot afford a loss, Wyoming is up 10-7 on Boise tonight. That
would be what, 2-8 Wyoming?
Yes, they are horrible this year. They were massive underdogs, and that is a game that Boise, because they are the leader in the clubhouse for the G5, cannot afford to lose. One of the other teams in the G5 race is Army. They are down by 14 points, and Notre Dame is at their 14 again. 21-7. Notre Dame trying to make it a 3-score game before the end of the first half. And that is what is going on around the country. If you missed it earlier, Penn State a 1-point win over Minnesota. Indiana falls to Ohio State. And again, the game, Happer, that probably right now is the most reverberations of the playoff is Ole Miss going down. I'd be stunned now if they make it into the CFP.
No,
right?
I mean, you can't allow that. You can't allow them into the playoff.
It'd be like allowing 3 callers from the same car to join Big Red Overreaction.
Crazier things have happened. By the way, people have mentioned how this is a great weekend for Husker fans and everything like that, and obviously it's going very, very well so far. So Mike mentioned, Trev, if Texas A&M loses tonight,
oh boy.
So think about this and talk to me about it in the comments or text it in or whatever. Who are your enemies? Who would you like to see have pain inflicted on them in a sports way over the rest of this weekend? There's still another day in the weekend. What could happen tomorrow that will make Husker fans happy?
Tomorrow?
I don't know. Are people in the NFL?
People love like former Huskers scoring touchdowns.
Okay, but what about enemies? What about former Hawkeyes?
It seems like you're implying an injury, Happer.
No, I didn't want to go there. I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just think, is there anybody else that could take an L this weekend that you're not fond of? Please let us know.
All right, let us know. When we return, we will bid you adieu. We have room for one more set of phone calls, so stay right there. We will get to you when we return at 402-951-1620 on the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Big Red Overreaction brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life, and by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. Josh Peterson, Connor Happer with you on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. One segment to go. Back after this. Josh Peterson, Connor Happer with you. It's Big Red Overreaction on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. And tonight we've been brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Also by Dingman's Collision Center and mechanical repair, and by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Nebraska 44, Wisconsin 25. By the way, those two teams playing right now in volleyball. First set coming to a close. Nebraska up 20-16. Looks like a challenge just happened. I didn't see what it was.
I didn't either.
Didn't see what it was. The YouTube chat is popping off right now. Any thing you wanted to read there, Connor?
It's just a couple very good comments.
Many good comments are in there.
Very good comments.
Many good comments are in there. Speaking
maybe we'll get that out on No Context 1620.
Well, feel free to take a screen. Oh, it looks like you've had a screenshot. You might be ready to go. I don't know which one it was. Oh, that was the one. Indeed. All
it's
right.
not going.
All right. Probably for the best, Happer. Probably for the best. Let's take our final round of phone calls before we say goodnight. Clay is up first. Hello, Clay. Uh-oh.
Clay.
Off to a rough start. Oh, Clay.
Ooh,
wow.
yourself,
Nice
Clay.
save, Clay.
Sorry, a little late there. My bad, boys.
All good. You're good.
Dude, I just want to say I was in the stadium. It was a heck of an experience. That last touchdown was electric. The stadium took a huge sigh of relief and was just going off. They were chanting "Go Big Red." I mean, I was having goosebumps, the whole thing. But I just want to say I've been a fan my whole life. I'm 22 years old. The last time we were great was 2016 with Riley, and it's just great to finally have 6 wins again. I mean, and it's just the bare minimum, but it's just awesome. And I want to give a shout out to Adam Carricker, John Johnston, Connor Hayden, all those guys from online. I mean, they really brought the fan base together, and I feel like more than ever, things are really looking up for everybody. So.
All right, Clay. Way to go.
What about us? We bring people together online.
Who are the people who brought the people online?
So I know who Adam Carricker is. I don't know who those other 2 people are.
All right.
So hopefully they're not problematic people.
I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, whatever they're doing. Doing good work.
Doing good work.
Look at everybody. Everybody's so together tonight. There's definitely nobody arguing in the comments about things.
It's the comment section.
That never happens.
All right. Well, let's see if Road King has some good takes. Road King, hello. How are you?
Hey, big win, big win, big win. About time.
That's right, Road King.
Listen, this is the team that we had all year long. I mean, I don't know what happened, and the roller coaster this year was just killing me. And I'm so glad that we finally got the team that we thought we had all year long.
Heck yeah, Road King. Got anything else?
Yeah. Did Fedoni play a single play after his false start?
I don't know.
I don't think so. He definitely did not get targeted after the false start. I can definitely say that.
Well, I'm just wondering, did anybody have a false start after Fedoni had that false start?
No.
I don't think so.
No, they didn't. What does that tell you? Coaches got their hands around their throat. You screw up, you're not going to play. And I think that's what happened right there. I think the players were playing a little bit out of fear, which is good, that if they want to play, don't screw up. I think the only exception would be that when the lineman spiked the ball. I think that was absolutely appropriate.
Yeah, you're allowed. I thought you were allowed to spike the ball in college. Did they? Has cancel culture come for spiking the football now?
Maybe
too?
it was the handoff to the lineman to the spiking of the ball.
You're allowed to do it, just not the lineman.
I don't know.
Oh, sad.
I don't know. Did you see, by the way? Hey, Road King. Did you see on? I think it was the next possession.
Hey, Road
King. I just want to talk to you real quick. So on the next possession, Wisconsin, I think was driving down the field, or they maybe were scoring a touchdown. And the guy clearly stood over the Nebraska guy after he scored a touchdown.
I missed
it. Was a clear taunt.
Interesting.
And this was after Nebraska got called for a bogus personal foul for spiking the football.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. The referee. I thought the refereeing was pretty fair through the game. It's been suspect all season long, but I thought for the most part, trying to be as objective as I can, I thought it was called pretty fair.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Road King. Good to hear from you, man, at 402-951-1620. Let's see. There's a few emails from this person, Kevin, who just keeps emailing over and over and over.
Kevin.
Is it clear 14 points per game and 44 today? Another one. Freaking hit on the 14 per game and 44, comma.
What's that mean?
And then a follow-up. Why it's 14 versus 44 per game, question mark?
So what's that mean?
I don't know. I don't know if Kevin thinks that we're being critical of Dana Holgerson. I'm very confused.
Definitely not. I have no critique.
Some people, I think, want to fight and just yell all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, I think you want to be emailing John Bishop. If you want to yell at somebody about Holgerson, John at 1620thezone.com.
Yeah.
Not Josh or Connor at 1620thezone.com.
Also, what do you think about the whole my theory is on when a new coach comes in and he has a certain way about doing his business and it works, people are like, this is the way you do it. So now this is the thing where people are like, oh, Dana doesn't care about people's feelings and he's benching people all over the place.
He calls them numbers.
And that's how you really do it.
Yeah.
But if a guy came in and Nebraska's program was one way and he came in, he was like Mike Riley. He was like Mr. Rogers. He was the nicest guy in the world and he like believed in people and it worked. People would be like, see, that's how you do it.
Yeah, you're supposed to be calm.
That's how you coach
Put
football.
a sweater on.
So if it works, it works.
It does indeed. Let's go back to the phones. A couple more calls before we say goodnight. James is up next on Big Red Overreaction. Hello, James.
Hey, appreciate you guys taking my call.
Thanks, man.
I'm very happy about what I saw today. I thought the offense was clicking. I'm very glad that we got this all over our heads and we don't have to deal with this 6-win nonsense anymore. I mean, now all that's left is for the basketball team to finally win in March, and I don't think that's going to happen coming from a diehard Jays fan. But anyways,
nice.
Do you think, since I know 6 wins have been hard to come throughout the year, and do you think since we finally got it, do you think it'll open more eyes for recruiters to possibly we'll get more high-star recruiters, or do you think it'll open our program a lot more, especially since now we got the 6 win? I just want to hear your guys' thoughts about that. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks,
Interesting
James.
question, James.
After he roasted you.
So he was a Jays fan.
Oh, I thought he was
roasted
roasting you.
Nebraska ball fans for never winning a tournament game. So roasted.
Wow, the Nebraska ball fans have been roasted.
Boom roasted. Bet you didn't think that was coming your way tonight. So the point that he made about recruiting. The biggest thing Nebraska has going for it in recruiting right now is they are on more stable footing with Dylan Raiola. This is a lovely occurrence that has happened the last 2 games.
Especially today.
We fielded, and it started to kind of, be a talking point, and then all of a sudden, last week,
put Heine in?
Last week, it was front and center.
Could you put Kalen in?
Is Dylan gonna leave?
Yep,
and what's gonna happen?
Oh yeah, it ramped up.
That is not the conversation this week. That as long as he is here, is Nebraska's greatest recruiting tool.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if the question is, does it help in recruiting? And are there people out there who are watching this? I saw Schaefer's tweet during the game. He's like, "Hey, if you're Cortez Mills, are you on Nebraska's staff right now sending all these videos of Ja'Cory Barney and everybody else to Cortez Mills in Dana Holgerson's offense?"
And that's the thing. You guarantee Dana's back, which barring him becoming a head coach again, he's going to be back. That is the thing that's going to be massive. It is time, Happer, for the final call.
Here we go.
Let it see if Drew is the person that will deliver the goods. Drew, don't let us down. You're the last caller tonight.
I won't let you guys down. Thanks for what you guys do. I appreciate it. One comment and one last question.
Okay.
The comment, just want to say, screw the Jays, screw Iowa. We're going to win next week and go 7-5 into the regular season. Question I have for you, who was the young offensive player that we're going to see? Because I didn't really see anybody other than saw 29 on the field a few times. Never saw 89. We all thought Clark was going to be the guy. Never saw him. What are your thoughts?
Drew, that's how you that's how you tie a bow on a week.
The whole circle. It's funny. You made a joke late in the game when IGC had been they threw the ball to him twice, and he caught one of them. And you were like, is he the mystery man? Was it Isaiah Garcia Castaneda?
The 26-year-old Isaiah Garcia Castaneda?
Let me ask you this. Did we just get trolled?
No, I don't believe that we got trolled. But I was telling people this the entire time. When coaches say that means they're like coming up to work with the top team, which
they're not going to get targeted 4 times.
They're going to get like 8 snaps maximum, right? They're going to put them in very specific situations. So it was never going to be like, oh, this guy's going to have 120 and 2 touchdowns as a receiver. No, I think it was Quinn Clark.
Yeah,
he just didn't play.
Yeah,
I don't think he played. Did he play? He didn't.
Not that I saw. Not that I saw. All right.
We didn't get trolled, though.
And that is how we wrap up Big Red Overreaction.
Unless you're a Jays fan, of course, then you got trolled for the last 24 hours.
Definitely got trolled, and that probably won't stop Happer. Nebraska wins 44-25 over Wisconsin. They are going to a bowl game. Will it be the Detroit Poop Bowl? Will it be the Mayonnaise Bowl? Or will it be anything in between?
7 is a lot better than 6. That's all I got to say.
7 is a lot better than 6. We will have an entire breakdown next week of what to expect. Don't forget, though, Severe Reaction tomorrow morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Michael Severe. Have to imagine he liked a 2:30 game. It allows him to rewatch it multiple times, so he'll have the goods tomorrow. Looks like a funny text or comment.
No, I was laughing at you, Josh. That was a funny comment.
Oh, okay.
Michael's going to watch the game 2 more times tonight before he does the show.
He definitely will. He definitely will. We want to give a huge shout out and thank you to multiple people.
This is awesome.
Joey Colbert back in the Zone Studios has done a wonderful job as always, put people on the air. Everyone is always like, why doesn't the producer do a better job at screening calls? No, screw that. Joey does a great job because he answers and he puts the weirdos on the air. Thanks to all the weirdos.
It's all
Thanks
the
to
content.
There you go.
Hi, Joey.
It's all
there
for
you
the
go.
content.
It's all for the content. That's what we care about.
Any ref takes, Joey, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Who do the
Ron
Packers have
Snot-
tomorrow?
They got charismatic Craig Worlstad.
Of course
Charismatic Craig.
Can't believe it.
Don't know about
another week with charismatic Craig.
Well, I'll be watching that in Vegas with you. I think I'm going to bet on the Packers or the 49ers rather. Sorry, Joey. I'll probably be wrong though. Also, Jacob Janicek, first time ever doing a remote on-site. Nick Grimm was all, my baby. He's going to fly. He's going to be out there. He did a great job. No, did we have any concerns?
Leave the nest. Absolutely not.
He dialed us in. He plugged things. You just got to plug stuff in and put a little thing here.
He shepherded the people.
Yeah, he did that. That's what we need from the producer is like, hey, the guy who said the F-bomb, can you maybe move him a little further away from the microphone? Jake Janicek did a great job. And finally, to Cross-Train. This is wonderful.
I love this place.
It's so sad that this is it. I got to do 2 of these this year. Maybe we make it happen more times next year.
Maybe there's a bowl game.
Maybe.
Oh, wait, there is.
There is a bowl game.
Interesting.
There is a bowl game. Drunk Monk says, thanks, Josh and Connor. You're
wow.
welcome. You're welcome,
You know
Drunk
what,
Monk.
Drunk Monk? I needed that because I really haven't been feeling the love lately.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, Connor's
I'm in hell.
Mentions are pretty bad right now. It's
Really
pretty funny.
bad.
This has been Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Also brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. And brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Severe Reaction tomorrow, 8 to 10. Then the Gary Sharp Show on Monday morning, 6 to 10. Connor Happer Show. Well, for us, it'll be 8 to...
Don't confuse the people.
It'll be 10 to 2.
Yes.
Then the ground with John and I from Vegas. Vegas,
right.
baby.
That's
And then on Tuesday and Wednesday next week, it's Topic Alert Radio with yours truly and Mr. Connor Happer. All right, for Joey, for Jake, for Connor, for Ava, for
Miyagi,
for all the callers. Thanks for joining us on Big Red Overreaction. Nebraska's going bowling for the first time in 8 years. 44-25 over Wisconsin. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you later.